But rarely do I see an article that's so capably and succinctly lays out how the Democrats plan to absolutely burn this country to the ground in this piece by Victor Davis Hanson at Fox News. Amazing. Amazing. The great VDH. Victor Davis Hanson. Headline: The 10 radical new rules that are changing America. Americans privately fear these rules while publicly appearing to accept them. We're going to go through these rules one by one. And the reason I thought of this is, I was on Jesse Waters' show on Saturday. I appreciate all of you watching. We had really great numbers. Thank you very much. But I laid out in the beginning my 3-step plan, which some of you had heard on the podcast, to fight back. We're never going to learn how to fight back, via countermeasures if we don't know what the measures are in the first place to counter. They have steps too, the left, to destroy and decimate this country, pressuring corporations, stacking elections, empowering the executive and the bureaucracy, stacking the Senate, stacking the Supreme Court, all of it. So let's go to Victor Davis Hanson's leftist rule number 1 to rapidly set a forest fire to the United States of America as we know it. Rule number 1, money. It's a construct, folks. No worries. It can be created from thin air. Annual deficits and aggregate national debt no longer matter much. Folks, if you are going to decimate and destroy a country, let me ask you this. What better way to do it than make its unit of measurement for value, its money system? What better way to do it than to destroy that and destroy the value behind it? So leftist rule number 1, if you're going to take out the country and burn it to the ground, you damn well better burn the value of the money first. We're seeing that right now. I ran into a lady this weekend. Listens to my show. I was in a local store. She was a former police officer. She said to me, what worries me most? The destruction of the whole monetary system in the United States and inflation. I said, bingo, you're right. She said, what should we do? I said, I don't have any easy answers. Buy real estate, Bitcoin, gold. There's no easy answer to this. But if you were going to destroy a country and destroy its money system, how would you do it? Well, the first way I would do it, if I was this evil and pernicious like some of the Democrats, is I would invent a theory. Dreaded air quotes here, folks. A theory that said, don't worry, money's pretty much worthless. If we just print it and keep printing it, we don't have to worry about taxes or anything like that. We can keep printing money, and we call it something fancy like this Vox headline. We would call it modern monetary theory. And don't worry, Vox explains it. Joe, that's literally the title of the piece. Modern Monetary Theory Explained by Vox with a V, not Fox with an F. Vox, left-leaning Vox. This is the subtitle, a very detailed walkthrough of the big new left economic idea. This is the big idea. Get ready for it, folks. This is a huge idea. Genius, bold. And by genius, bold, I mean stupid and not well thought out. Their genius idea is this. Don't worry. We can just print money. We don't actually need to earn anything. Yes. Who would have thought of that? In the private sector, we call that counterfeiting. The government calls it modern monetary theory. Here's Vox, quote, modern monetary theory is having a moment. What? Like a bowel movement moment? Like what kind of moment exactly are they having? It says, the theory in brief argues that countries that issue their own currencies can never, quote, run out of money the way people or businesses can. No, Sherlock. But what was once an obscure, heterodox branch of economics has now become a major topic of debate amongst Democrats and economists with astonishing speed. This is the intellectual branch of the modern left. I'm not kidding. The intellectual branch of the modern left is like, we figured it out, folks. We figured out a solution to our debt and economic problems. We don't actually have to make stuff, medicines, food, any of that stuff. Don't worry, we could just print money and buy it all. And the leftists are like, what a great idea. Oh my gosh, what took us so long to think of this genius idea? Now, unlike the dunces on the left, VDH, Victor Davis Hanson, who to save time will be referred to as VDH throughout this episode now, VDH is actually really smart. And he's like, if we were going to destroy America, what would rule number 1 be? It would be to debase and destroy the currency. And yes, let's give it a fancy name. Now, because my audience is quite smart and I actually respect my audience, unlike Vox, which thinks their audience are idiots, hey, we got a great idea. Let's just print a bunch of money. That way we never run out. Oh, man, why did we think of this? My audience, which is actually smart, unlike the Vox audience, is like, if we print a whole lot of money and we don't make a whole lot of stuff, because it's stuff that makes us prosperous, right? Not money behind it. Any idiot can print money, right? It's actual stuff. Again, medicines, food, cars, homes. What makes us wealthy in the United States. I'm not talking about emotional wealth or well-being. I'm talking about actual wealth. What makes the United States wealthy is we have a lot of stuff because we make stuff. So the smart ones in the audience are like, if we print a lot of money, but we don't make a lot of stuff, wouldn't that be a lot more money chasing a lot less stuff, which would mean the less stuff would cost a lot of money? Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, that might really happen. That sounds like inflation. As if on cue, Wall Street Journal today. Inflation arrives. Is it transitory? Producer prices rise in 1% in March alone, by the way, as supply side constraints bite. Let me translate that for the liberals who watch my show, who have a difficult time processing information. Supply side constraints is fancy Wall Street Journal speak for we're not making a lot of stuff, as we're printing a lot of money to go chase less stuff. So, well, what happens when you believe in fancy pants ideas like, don't worry about actually making stuff, let's just print more money? You get inflation. Here's the Wall Street Journal today, again, as if on cue. Quote, congratulations to those who want higher inflation. You got it. The U.S. on Friday reported a rise of 1% producer prices for March, double the consensus prediction of economists. Prices are up 4.2% in the last year, with goods prices up 7%. Rule number one, you want to destroy a country. What's the quickest way to do it? Just print a whole bunch of money and give it a fancy theory name. And don't worry, when inflation goes through the roof, just blame the Republicans for it. By the way, one of the geniuses of the Democrats' theory, let's just print a whole bunch of money, is you don't have to fight for tax hikes much anymore because you could just print a lot of money. You don't have to tax it, right? John Maynard Keynes already predicted it. The leftist scion, the god, small g, god of the left on economics, John Maynard Keynes, eponymous founder of Keynesian economics, said what? Hey, who the hell needs to tax people? If you want to spend 25% of everything people make, you could tax them at 25%, or you could just print a whole bunch of money and spend it anyway. The math is simple. You have $100 in the economy, you can tax $25 out of it, spend it, that's 25%. Or you could just print $33, which would mean it was $133, and then you spend 33 of that dollar, and you spend a quarter of it anyway. The math is pretty simple. Step one, destroy the money, the currency, the country goes down with it.